Okay, so today we're doing the math on a true megastar. We're going to break down the incredible story of how Ed Sheeran went from, just a kid with a guitar to a global music phenomenon. Let's dive right in. Let's just start with a number that's, well, it's almost hard to wrap your head around. 200 million. That's how many records Ed Sheeran has sold worldwide. It puts him in this tiny elite club of the best-selling music artists in history. Just wow. And, it's not just about the sheer volume of sales. When the UK's official charts company looked back at the 2010s, they named him the Artist of the Decade. And why? Well, it was simple, really. He had the most success across both albums and singles, day in and day out for 10 straight years. Nobody else even came close. So that leads to the big question, right? In an age of huge pop productions and spectacle, how on earth did one guy with a guitar pull all this off? To really get it, to understand this massive success, we have to go all the way back to the beginning. Yeah, our story doesn't start in some giant stadium. It starts in Suffolk, England, where it was all about relentless hard work and just pure, raw talent. So he was raised in this town, Framlingham, which is home to the actual castle that inspired his hit song. He started writing music when he was just 11 years old. Get this, a school report from back then actually called him a natural performer. Kind of feels like they saw what was coming, huh? And let me tell you, this timeline just completely shatters any idea that he was an overnight success. I mean, he was putting out his own music at 13, moved to London to play in any tiny venue that would book him. He was just constantly working. By 2010, that hustle started to pay off, and he caught the eye of legends like Elton John and Jamie Foxx. And then, in 2011, he proved he didn't even need a label, selling thousands of copies of an EP with absolutely zero promotion. That's the definition of a grind. So after all that grinding, you just knew a breakthrough had to be coming. And this was the moment. The moment the door to the mainstream wasn't just knocked on, it was kicked clean off its hinges. The real turning point was in early 2011. He released this independent EP, which is kind of like a mini album, where he collaborated with a bunch of UK grime artists. It shot to #2 on the iTunes chart. Now, you have to understand, in the UK at that time, this was a huge deal. It showed that an artist, all on their own, could have a massive, culturally important hit without any backing from a major record label. That independent success, it led directly to a record deal. As soon as he signed with Asylum Records, he dropped his debut album, Plus, which went straight to the top of the UK charts. Its lead single, The A-Team, became the best-selling debut of 2011. So by 2012, when this photo was taken, he was already winning major awards. The rocket had officially taken off. But just breaking through, that was only the beginning. What came next was a period of absolutely unprecedented global success with his next 2 albums. This was true world domination. So his second album, X, or Multiply, was just a global smash hit. It topped the charts in both the UK and the US. It became Spotify's most streamed album of 2014, and the single Thinking Out Loud won him 2 Grammy Awards. This album didn't just climb the charts, it really cemented his status as a proper international superstar. But here's the crazy part. As massive as Multiply was, it was basically just the warm-up act. His third album, Divide, took his success to a level that the music industry had honestly rarely ever seen. The list of records that Divide just shattered, it's staggering. It was the best-selling album worldwide in 2017. Shape of You and Castle on the Hill debuted at #1 and #2 in the UK. That had never happened before in chart history. He was the first artist ever to have 2 songs debut in the US top 10 at the same time. The album didn't just top the charts, it completely rewrote the record books. And all of that success from that era led to one thing, the Divide Tour. By the time it wrapped up in 2019, it had officially become the highest-grossing and most attended concert tour in history. It's an incredible journey from those small festival stages to literally commanding the biggest stadiums on the planet. So, what's the legacy of this incredible rise? I think it's about more than just numbers. Let's talk about what we can call the Sheeran effect. This quote from The Guardian, I think it really nails the heart of his appeal. He has this genius for creating these universal anthems. His songs are just perfectly crafted to soundtrack the biggest moments in your life. Weddings, breakups, you name it. And that's why they connect with millions of people on such a personal level. And his songwriting talent? It wasn't just for his own albums. He became this secret weapon for other massive artists, writing huge hits like Love Yourself for Justin Bieber, and working with everyone from Taylor Swift and One Direction all the way to country star Kenny Chesney. But right alongside all those artistic achievements is this deep commitment he has to giving back. You've got the 200 million records and 4 Grammys on one side, and on the other, he's donated over £1 million to local charities back home and even launched his own foundation to help young musicians. And through this whole meteoric rise, he's managed to build this powerful everyman image. From his classic flannel shirts, which he often donates to charity, to his well-known love for Heinz ketchup, he's made being a global superstar feel surprisingly normal and, well, down to earth. And that really brings us to a final powerful question, doesn't it? In an industry that is so often about spectacle and extravagance, is Ed Sheeran's incredible success the ultimate proof that behind all the stats and all the records, the most powerful force in music is still, and maybe will always be, just a great song?